the sort of average age range for a defection in years in the game, it's not in the first 3 years that someone defects. Someone defects for 5 to 8 years when they're at the senior level, because then they go, oh, I'm starting to see, I've already worked my ass off. Now I'm starting to see that getting to that partner level, there's some stuff going on there that I don't necessarily agree with, but I have no say in it. So the exposure at that level and a defection at that level, at that range, which is, it's been documented before, and I think people will understand and agree on it. That's also why I'm saying it's not privy to everyone. So the person who's just put their resume together with their GPA and saying, please let me in, has no idea. And it takes maybe 5 to 8 years to get to a point of realization that, oh, this is working in this way, and people have these motivations, and because I'm about to consider now what it means to be a partner, or I've been privy to that conversation.
So what do you think, because you are in your late 20s, are you?
Yeah, well, no, I turned 30 in November last year. So.
Adorable.
Yeah.
It's interesting you should say that people coming in effect, this is I can never think of a good description, but it's one of those businesses where to cash out, you need people to cash in. There are some negative ideas around that, but
yes,
pretty much that's the model, right?
Yeah.
And so if the next generations are coming through, I'm a bit perplexed by that. You're saying that you get a lovely fresh post-university legal graduate.
Yes.
What do you think they're joining? What do you think they think they're joining?
Well, from my own experience, I think they're aspiring to be a lawyer, not knowing what it actually looks like in the workforce.
Yeah.
And once they get there, they realize that they're not really going to be privy to the things that perhaps they aspired to, because they're going to be tasked with the menial manual labor. And this is a human leveraged business. And that's why that's why my company works on replacing that with technology as much as possible, because juniors could be doing way more creative things and potentially building client bases and things like that, and providing better service. I mean, they shouldn't be used there to pull the levers. Essentially, it's not a belt on a factory line.
Counterpoint. I sat in a meeting recently with people talking about trends and futures and automation, and one of the big concerns was, but how will we train our new lawyers if the menial, the rote reviews, due diligence, whatever, if that all goes away, what do you do to bring people on?
Okay, so counterpoint.
Au contraire.
We should give Julian a bit of work. We should have like animations and stuff popping up. Counterpoint.
Counterpoint. Just completely a tangent.
Yeah, the counter to that point is that question is being asked in the context of the way the machine operates now. So for a law firm to scale, the traditional answer has been add more people to do more stuff. That's how a law firm scales, right? So teaching people how to do things, how will we teach them? You may not have more people to teach when you can replace it with technology. And with new applications of automated work, the question of what it means to be a lawyer does change fundamentally as well. I mean, not fundamentally, it's almost a renaissance. It's back to serving humans, human service, serving society, advocacy. That's what it should return to. However, that dream, that's probably good answer too. That's the dream that I think a lawyer comes out of university to go into, and they realize the actual work of law at that level, at that entry level, is not even close. I mean, there's a few glinting examples that you might touch over in 2 or 3 years, but it's not going to be that. So does that satisfy the counterpoint in the sense that they're asking, how do we teach these people the rote stuff And I'm saying, well, the only reason they want more people is to scale, but scaling can be done when you automate. So you will not teach them rote. You may teach them some rote stuff, but you may also teach them completely new things, or you may need to bring someone else in to teach them completely new things, and yourself new things, because things are changing, right?
Mm-hmm. And so that goes into that big cycle of, and so, you know, wither. And for me, this really sits, I'm always curious about the mid-tier of the industry, because you have the top end of town where they have, not that it's perfect, but they have resources and space to be able to at least contemplate this and to play with the idea of new possible selves. They can do some of that.
Yes.
And the smaller end, you know, I've got a friend out in the industry. He, you know, so many of these, I see so many of these, followed a path, decided to become a lawyer, trained, joined a firm, got qualified, stayed in it for a while, went, God blimey. Didn't fit, left, and they've set up his own firm. Actually, I have a number of people like this that I know, and it's in their own mold, and it's not, you know, they're not normal law firms.
Yeah.
But that the mid-tier, I think, are the ones with that struggle of,
Agreed.
We got that legacy.
Agreed. So I have a thing about this. I completely understand it, and I agree. I think it's the mid-tier. There's two paths I can give an example of in this situation. So to follow the traditional trend, mid-tiers will look to be absorbed, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So in the old cycle of business right now, and that's why across the board you will see a divergence and convergence away from the mid-tier. Like, so right now there is a spread away from mid-tier, because the mid-tiers, their traditional approach is, we need to get bought out. We need to get bought out. That's the move, right? If this thing isn't scaling the top tier, we either, and it happens successfully and unsuccessfully in different ways. Sometimes an entire firm gets bought out, and that's happened in the last 5 years. You'll see some high upper mid tiers absorb other ones to make themselves a bigger firm, right? Because the revenue is sourced to relationships, which is sourced to partners. So then, you know, the amount of them you can collect together, you get a bigger pool. But also, it is what was I saying? Yeah. But it's also happened unsuccessfully, which is partner defection. So partners just moving on, and obviously the move for that is because they've been given a better deal, whether it's a better cash rate for their equity stake, or whether it's they've got a strategic, so they've got a client that the firm that's helping them defect is interested in, or can see partnerships with. But that's happening a lot, and you can see it through Eric's work. You know, when Alpha creates, what he's you look at the trend of
Eric Chin,
Eric Chin, sorry, M&A, Alpha creates M&A transactions, mergers and acquisitions, essentially. So just seeing that within the law world happening at the same time as there's an exponential growth in technology as well. But so there's that. The other. That's just one way of explaining what's happening. That's on a traditional cycle, but on the newer cycle, I think that's what will happen is singular people will move out of, singular partners or small groups of partners will move out and do what you just mentioned. So they'll come out and build something a lot more agile and smaller. So they're sort of tearing apart that mid-tier.
And you can so see it happening. We're in Australia, so that's where our kind of knowledge is right now. But you look here, the McPherson Kellys and the, HWL Ebsworths, who are bulking up, and there's others that are bulking up, Hall and Wilcox, and bigger. David Maister, who is sort of the granddaddy of legal business management. One of his things is it's not size is not necessarily an indicator of more profit or success. So it's not necessarily about that.
Correct.
But there's obviously a sense of size is a protection against something.
A storm.
A storm.
Is that an indirect admission that there's a storm coming?
There's winter. Winter is coming.
Winter is coming.
Like wolf fur. I should be wearing wolf fur.